Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge.
It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
So the Western door of perception. Within that door, it opens up for you to see your dreams, feel your dreams, and know where your dreams need to be put. When I say put, we have a cellular memory. This cellular memory, we don't store our memories in our brain. We store it in the cells of our body. That is its purpose. And the actual skeleton that you have is the biggest data storage device that you have. Your actual skull cap, that which encases your brain, actually has a crystalline structure within the center matrix of the bone, from the way it grows, and that is actually where your actual dreams and hard memories are stored. And the brain is an access machine and uses that. There are times that when you are in intensive dream and you come out and that data area is completely full, and it must move that information to another part of the body. And after a while, one part is here, one part is there. And that's why you go through these sudden rememberings at times. People say, oh, I haven't thought about this person in forever, this person forever. It's because the cellular memory became active. There was enough blood flow in a particular area that triggered something that needed to be what I call put back in its place because the code had gotten so long. I liken it to like the Microsoft bloatware that just makes the system run very slow. And the same thing can apply to the concept of the human being, because we are a data processing machine. The skin suit that you wear is the technology. The dreaming world is the infinite energy. The finite energy comes into the body. And where we cross over from our dream world to our physical world is where you can learn about the mechanics of how your dreams are stored. When you learn about the mechanics, you understand that few moments you have in infinity to the point where your conscious mind accepts finite concept is where you're downloading this information from your processing brain and understanding heart into the physical body that your cellular memory is. So that is the ultimate concept about the Western doors. Where is this information being stored in you? What techniques do you need to learn to access it? One of the first techniques is to challenge yourself when you first wake up in the morning. Can you identify if you dream? Can you stay in dream time? Can you hit the snooze button and fall back asleep and continue your dream? When you're in those states, you are processing infinity, quite literally, because your brain is moving at a much significant faster pace, as well as your heart interpreting that understanding, because the brain itself is trying to identify points in space and time. And in infinity, there are no points in space and time in the dream world. The mind creates this world so that it can perceive it and understand it. When you work with Dreamtime societies, they create a foundation for the brain to function in. This is commonly called mapping the pathways of past, present, and future shamans. When they map these pathways, what happens is your soul group has connections to that point. And when you have connections to that point, you're allowed in there to begin the brain perception outside of your body in your dream world so that you can process, learn. This is where you meet your totem guides, your animal medicine, your spirit guides, because they've set up the environment so you can process it, so you can learn communication in that world. That communication is where you're speaking from your heart and your mind is in perfect sync with your heart, because you're in that infinite mode where the heart is connected to the fullness of the spirit world. When you are in a child in the very beginning of your womb, the very first thing that comes forward is your heart as a fetus. Nothing else. Think of that. Your heart is the first thing. Inside the heart is a piece of brain matter, actually, the very first concept of your brain. And as your body expands and you make a spinal column and a head, that little piece of heart separates into two, and a new brain is formed by the time the baby reaches 20 or 30 weeks. So bring that concept. As the dream world infinite you that has found a mother and a father, you've gone in, you start as a heart. As you expand out, your spinal column, your throat chakra, your brain, and your crown chakra are formed, and they're all still linked to your heart. This is the perception of the Western door. You know, there's even more ways that we can heal ourselves and understand our cellular memory. I've spoken frequently that our dreaming body literally lives inside our organs. Where your stomach to your lower intestine, your upper and lower intestine begins, truly where your dreaming body is. It is between your root chakra, sacral chakra, and just a little bit above. So if you know where the chakra systems are, right there in that spot is where your dreaming body exists. It doesn't exist in your head. When you begin to enter a dream state, the energy of your mind and your third eye and your crown go into your heart. And then your heart takes all this energy and goes into the solar plexus. And then from the body. At that point is where literally the human body turns off and there's what's known as paralysis. Your body needs to be in paralysis or you'll be like a dog shaking its arm in dreams and not being able to fully get into dream time. As that energy comes and you go more and more into dream time, the lucid dreaming state that everybody are trying to get is when all of the upper energies of the chakras are in the sacral chakra building up this wave pattern before they go into the root. Right as that time the energies from the root is entering the sacral is entering the sacral chakra is where you have the actual physical mental moment to say, I want to lucid dream. That is how you battle the programming, the autopilot. That is where you bring all of the consciousness of all of your energy chakras plus your into your root. At that point, your root chakra will blossom like a red energy, opening up petals of flowers, open over and over. One petal leads into another, one flower leads into another, another into another, until it creates a prism of energy, just as if a crystal would reflect the light into the prism. That is the beginning of your dream state. At the very beginning of your dream state is where you can shape how you lucid dream and how you make the rules of remembering. You have total control over your cellular memory at that point. It is the time where the programmer comes in and says, the pain in my back needs to be healed. The pain in my feet needs to be healed. The fact that I can't make a relationship with a friend or a lover, that needs to be healed. And as you tell that to the body, you release all of this other mental stress attached with the mind, linked with all of these energies. And then you go deep into the root chakra, and the root chakra comes up off your body like a flower. It's got a stem, and that flower opens up, and then you have dream travel, where you enter dream time, dream worlds. That's truly where any of the lucid dreamers want to go. This is where you look to your cellular memory for your dream time maps, your dream time compass that allows you to see the dream time lighthouses that are out there so you may project your dream time body to those spots and experience those spots with all of your mind.
Sherry, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Where are you calling from today?
Today from California because I'm visiting family this week.
Ah, in a different sacred geometry energy. So how did you find out about me?
My girlfriend of mine sent me a link to one of your talks, and I've pretty much been watching them ever since. I think that was back in June.
What very
I've
cool.
been enjoying your Galactic series and trying to stay up with the live calls.
So of the material, what of it that has jumped out at you or helped you change?
Well, I've definitely got motivated with the detoxing that you guys were talking about, so I've been starting to work on that and trying to do a little deeper cleansing and detoxing. And I already love salt and salt baths and all that, so all that was very confirming.
Very
and
good.
I've really enjoyed your Galactic series, your talks. I'm trying to get through those where you've got like 18 of them recorded on your site.
The ones with Lance White?
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's another series with Chris Hales also. I believe there's another 30 episodes where we go even deeper into galactic history. I believe all in all 180 hours. Something around crazy around there. Yeah. Well, that's why we have an archives, everyone, and those are free to view on YouTube. At Galactic Historian YouTube channel. Anyways, we are going to jump into your reading. Have you heard me do readings?
Yes, I have. That's actually, I got very interested when I saw you do some of your, like the Trail of Tears and things like that.
Very cool. So what I'd like you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. And what I'm going to do is tune into the, for today, and I'm going to tune into the infinite dream world energy that is you. And I'm going to look how the awake you in the infinite dream world you met in this morning. And from there, we're going to create an Akashic record reading that links into the 20,000 other worlds that you've lived in. Because like me, you personally, one of the reasons I chose you out of the big list of people that are applying for readings is you have all the soul codes to everyone. Just like I do, and about 85, 90,000 other people currently in the world, and a potential for another trillion more people to have these complete soul codes. You are at a state where you have evolved certain things, but this I Am Presence of the now has certain things that it has to work out that it did as it was a child. So tell me about your dream and your waking of this morning.
My sleep's been a little different here because I'm at my parents' house and on a different time zone. But this morning I wake up, and usually what I do is I kind of lay in bed and wake, and I usually visualize the energy and focus on the colors and things like that, aligning my chakras and stuff like that. So this morning I don't necessarily remember a dream. I just remember relaxing and waking up. And I ended up getting up and going downstairs and sitting out on the patio and meditating a little bit.
You actually had to time travel to get here. You had to go in a different time zone.
Really?
Oh, you think about it. How long ago did you find out you were going to have a reading?
Last night.
Last night.
He had called me yesterday afternoon.
All right. So this is the key here. You when we talk time zones, this is not traditional scientific time traveling. You have your local bubble of time where you live, and then a few miles away from your house, there's another local bubble of time because people observe time differently. We all share a common observance, but you, in your dream world, are going to different local bubbles of time and trying to recalibrate. There's a particular spot when you go to sleep that your body goes through its dreaming process, lets the dreaming body out of the navel passage without a cord attached to it. It's a photonic light body. It goes to this particular, I'm going to call it like some kind of pasture, and there's a church that was burned down there a really, really, really long time ago, and there was a timepiece there. And you're working with numbers of other people that live in your area, and you are reconnecting time. And when Tanach got a hold of you, you were getting ready to go on a dream journey back to your parents' home. So you can reconnect a local dream time, physical time, numbers of times, into another local dream time. This is what you have been weaving through the world of time and fake time. This is what your soul has been doing for countless lifetimes, over and over again. You are so interwoven with the accuracy of real time versus false sacred geometry time. And you're constantly trying to give tidbits and pointers and directional modes to different people that you meet that relates around time so that their consciousness can once again be realigned here in the now.
Wow. Amazing. Is that why I don't always remember everything and I wake up tired?
Wake up tired because your dreaming mind is overworking. Way overworking. You're having too much of your dreaming world starting to affect you. And you're not able to remember these dreams because they are so vast. And you, at this point, are still a micro being that hasn't gone through the awakening process where your third eye has settled into your heart and allowed it to be a unified presence, because the third eye was never meant to be separate from the heart. It's always meant to be over in a series of layers so we can learn through heart-based expression or mind-based expression or the expression of duality what we're trying to get through this experience. Your experience is about calibrating time so people can go into realignment. That means your physical life, there would have been phases that you would go through. You'd be done with something, and then a fuse would be lit, and it would be over, and then you'd start the next fuse, and it would be over and over. And you haven't finished the process of deeply self-nurturing yourself. You have a particular injury to your gallbladder. You have 2 ribs that are out of place just below your armpit. It appears you have some sort of calcification on your spinal column. This looks like some kind of one second, let me scan through it. Particularly around your neck and left shoulder. There's at some point in time there was a heavy-duty energy harvesting entity draining power out of you and using your left scapula. It was like this feeder tube that was installed into it, and this was, you got caught in false time, and it took you quite a long time. This is age 14 to about age 22, 21.
Wow.
This is what. All right, where were you living at age 14? What's country?
In Del Toro, California.
Del Toro, California. Del Toro, why were you there?
So I lived in California for a long time, and then 15 years ago moved to North Carolina.
Interesting. Another North Carolina thread comes through.
Another.
You're related. This is going right to Ponce de Leon. Okay, you're a time traveler. You're a person that calibrates time. That means your soul's purpose each lifetime is to figure out about time and how to apply that to yourself so you can get the most done with your soul, family, friends, or yourself this lifetime. So,
is that like a multi-dimensional?
No, it's how you work with karma. There are souls that are karmic retributors. That means they've given away their power to the system, and the system says, here's a mission as a soul. This particular person is going to need a really bad girlfriend. Go be it. And you go, I volunteer, because you're a retributing soul. And then there are karmic contributors, and then there are karmic resolvers, and then there are karmic creators. And then there are people who are incarnators. They have no karma when they come in. And then there are people specifically designed to look for incarnators and to bring them back into the reincarnation system and trap them in. Well, you're an incarnating being with the purpose of recreating time, so a karma cannot affect you in not only this dimension and time stream, but any other dimension or time stream, even if you were in unawareness then of what you're doing now. It's a way of unifying all of your soul shards under the frequency of the end time, which is soul unity. It isn't about apocalypse or any of that. It's literally your soul coming to a point where you have calibrated it. They're all using the same frequency of dream time, and therefore they're all one.
Wow. I was so nervous about this call. Oh, that is amazing.
All right, so what kind of questions do you have?
My goodness. Well, I guess you kind of have mentioned my mission. So the current health issue that I've been experiencing has been the weight. Has been just problems with my weight vacillating up and down, and it doesn't seem like the diet and certain things have really helped it. Is that from overworking the dream body? Is what you were saying?
Yes, you're not getting accurate dream sleep. Your body is going into dream sleep, and your dreaming body has taken much more sovereignty than it should this lifetime, and many people are in that scenario. What that means is you don't go the full 40, 50 or minutes or 2 hours that it takes to build up the proper energy so your dreaming body can leave in the proper way, like it's not cracking an egg open. There are times that your dreaming body has said, put up the middle finger and said, I'm out, go to sleep now. That's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the dreaming body is taking its mission far too seriously. You are the I am presence. You are the one that is here in the now for the experience. That includes the sleep experiences. You're a part of those too.
Mm-hmm.
So taking the sovereignty back from the dream world so you get proper dream nurturing. The proper dream nurturing is when you wake up and you're, wow, I've got a spark in my eye. That's not Kundalini release. That's proper dream connection. Even if you don't remember the dream, but you wake up refreshed, like it was 12 hours of sleep in 5. That's what you have to begin to demand from your dreaming body in an out loud expression to begin to change the frequency pattern of whenever you're going to sleep. It takes over and determines how it will leave and how it will enter without a full regard for what it may do for the energy of the body and the I am presence who has to wake up and continue to go through the day without the proper amount of energy to fund whatever sentinels you may have up for watching for negative entities or to fund synchronicities to happen to your life so you happen to just have enough outward presence that somebody looks and catches your eye and you now meet that person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess that's some of what I've been trying to work on is I realized something was out of balance, just trying to figure out how to balance it.
Well, how to balance for you is to understand that you're a dreamer and lucid dreaming is one thing. For you to get to that dreaming stage, you've got to begin to recover your energy. You've got to begin to look at the way you sleep. How often are you doing salt baths?
Well, probably not often enough right now.
All right, so there are
Actually,
some people
I had been using I used the salt packs that you mentioned, behind the neck and the lower back and everything. I had been doing that.
What did it do for you when you first used them?
Well, I felt like I slept better. I actually felt like I slept better.
Is there a reason you stopped using them? Is it just fell out of your tradition, or you didn't remember, or combination of all that?
Sometimes it's just work schedule and whatnot, but recently I had been using them until I went out of town.
Okay. Well, sometimes our body resists because the dreaming body, when you put the salt there, it basically says, no, you can't do that. We're achieving balance. When you have salt, the great neutralizer at the base of your neck and the base of your tailbone, it doesn't matter what your kundalini is doing. It doesn't matter what the entities are doing. It doesn't matter what the energy and the environment is. You are stating you're going into neutrality with that salt there. And it's a matter of the quality of the salt, the volume of the salt that determines how much into neutrality you'll get. So getting good sleep means that's what you needed to achieve neutrality so that the dreaming body, the awake mind, and then the heart can come to terms in the dream world. There are times that the dreaming body rushes out of the body, so it ignores the heart, often. And then there are times that the dreaming body won't leave until it gets an answer out of the brain about something, or vice versa. And our dreaming bodies have their own missions, so that's separate of us. But those missions ultimately affect the frequencies of the people we meet, the people we interact with, the love, hate, and all those other things in between. We are our own teachers, and our dreaming bodies are in the future, but they're in the future of unity already. They're already in 2050, 2090, 2 million AD, 2 million BC. They're wherever they want to be in their own expression of time. that's layered over of the I am presence existence. When we have out-of-body experiences, it's when we come out from our heart, through our third eye, and out our crown. A very different experience. You have a cord attached to you. And then when we are remote viewing, or we are clairvoyant or clairescent of something, we are extending our photonic light expressions. You have to come to understand they are all different disciplines. Your power is the ability to control your dreaming body. That means where your belly button is, 2 inches above it and 2 inches below it is where your dreaming body is, literally, in your intestinal tract. All of your energy for dreaming and your ability to remember your dreams is based off of your intestinal tract. That's the way your DNA skin suit was set up. It is a dreaming skin suit, but it has a time-sensitive spirit inside it.
Wow.
Okay? So hold on one second here. Let me scan deeper. Time-sensitive soul, DNA skin suit. Frustration, hesitation, obsession. There are all sorts of things that your dreaming body is doing. I'm going to call it rebellious. There are times that your dreaming body will go into sacred geometry places that it knows other people who are dreaming are trapped there and being fed off of, and it'll purposely screw up the local time grids over there so that the collection points are there and people get natural dream sleep. You don't do this for yourself. You do it for your friends and your family in the dream world, but you don't set up these trip lines in your own world to stop things from harvesting you. There are a number of situations where you still have a lot of sacred space backdoors into some relationships that just turn toxic in their own way, and the amount of love that you have for them even expresses in the energy world that they can come up in their psychic body with a credit card and go pshink on your spirit, and you give them the money and they walk away. You have to begin to close those because your dreaming body is really overworking those people, altering their dream frame, their time frame, so that they can get dreams and heal to eventually pay you back that energy. But as the I am presence, they're never going to be able to pay you back that energy. They've taken so much already that the amount of energy that they have in would take 50 years to repay you.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I
So
have no clue.
and let's go into age 19, 20, 21. What were you doing?
Okay. 19, 20, 21. I lived in California and was probably in college. And at some point I started working for a law firm.
So right away you would have been in professional business world from college with professional business situations in our male-dominated society is constantly doing what to a woman in business?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it goes deeper than that. Right, it goes deeper than that. You were a beautiful, smart, young woman in the meat market, along with all the other women in the meat market. That's the way the office life works. Even out of the office, it's very similar. You got caught into that in your dream world, and that is where you began to follow the hierarchal order, where a patriarchy took over part of your dream world, and you began taking orders in the physical world as well as the dream world.
Wow.
So those are the things you need to begin to remove from your frequency so the power of your dreaming body is returned back to you. So when you go to sleep as the I am presence, you're telling the dreaming body, no, you are not dreaming in these other places. You are going to the place of our true soul family, and we are going to have a soul family reunion. This is my will of the I am presence. It is the way of the now. We are beings of the now. Even those of my dreaming body are always in the now. In this moment of commandment, before I go to sleep, I enforce to my body, mind, and spirit that I shall dream nowhere else but with my soul family in full soul family reunion. And that is the type of wording you're going to have to be bringing to yourself as you're going to sleep, as well as during the day, to begin to remind the body. The body at times gets cocky, and it literally thinks it's the soul, and the I am presence, the soul spark, is the experience. It's the other way around. We created this body in co-creation with our mother and father. It's equal parts. So now we have to come into, you're into this meat market. Obviously, you had relationships during that time. Those particular relationships that have mental abuse about them, verbal abuse, the job has it, everything has it. Nothing is perfect all the time. Okay?
Right.
Those particular incidents in which you want to begin thinking about again, like at work,
Okay.
the adult mind you have now. You know, man, I was a beautiful, bright, young little girl, but I did not have the street smarts of these people at the law firm. You know, was there a particular gentleman in the office that tried to sleep with everyone around?
Yes, actually there was.
Okay, and how do you think that affected you as an energetic level with the person that you are now? It was allowed and celebrated for him, and it was what if you were to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Social
Wouldn't have been
ruin.
accepted, right? Right.
You would have been immediate social ruin. You would have never worked there again if you got caught. But if he got caught, it didn't matter. That is the types of things that you have to begin to resolve. All the standards you grew up in. That's where you're going to get your power back. That is why your dreaming body has turned really rebellious and decided to take the plan into its own hands and do it all in the dream world and say, no, well, screw it. You don't get to have experience everything. You'll get it at the end when we're all in unity, and I'll share everything I did over here. Yeah. It's your life. And it knows it.
Oh, my goodness. Whew. Wow.
So we come to the point in the reading, well, to get this dreaming body back, it's looking at the colon cleanse, just like I said last week, as the thing for you. You know, as well as doing talking by the fire, telling your story to the fire. In your case, it's going to be telling your double standards to the fire. Why? Because they've affected you so much. When I look into your Akashic frequency, I see about 6 scenarios where you were so confused by these double standards that you had to find conformity to something. And you have to find those moments in yourself where you chose conformity instead of being your full self.
Okay.
Okay, because the dreaming body is now making you conform. And no, it can't conform like that anymore.
Right.
So do you have any questions?
Well, that's a lot to absorb. Well, I do have a question. As far as some of the things that were going on here on the planet, like I went to Glastonbury a couple years ago, 3 years ago, and some interesting things happened there, not that I totally understood it. Is there a way to get information on that?
Oh, yeah. Glastonbury, one of the most haunted cities in the world.
Oh, great.
So what happened when you went to Glastonbury?
It looked like some type of crystal prism, you know, like I was asleep, and I kind of became awake, and it looked like being in a crystal prism, a large one, you know, and I was hearing something that sounded like downloads, you know, like card shuffling, like that. And I didn't really exactly understand what was going on, and
you were recalibrating time. Glastonbury was a major location for the creation of false time. And for you to get an accuracy of what false time was in all different dimension and time strains, you'd have to go to the place of false time and have a spiritual experience there.
Wow. Oh, that did happen. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Okay, what else happened in there?
In Glastonbury, I remember climbing the Glastonbury tour, and as I was climbing it, I was definitely feeling a lot of heart, palpitations and things. There was obviously some trauma or something that had occurred there.
Yeah, you died on that hill before.
Yes, that's right.
As well as a number of other hills in that area, as well as the Fairy Stone in France. You were there. Let's see, where else were you? You were at the Battle of Vercingetorix in Gaul. You were at Cannae. You were in a whole bunch of Roman stuff. Defeating the Romans. You were in the Gaul side always, or the other. You were always against the Romans.
Wow.
You were Munda with Caesar. You're even attached to Caesar's assassination.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, you actually crafted the blade that was put into one of the people's hands that was to kill Caesar.
Wow.
And your soul is extremely proud of that murder.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. We all have things to learn, and there are times that souls are proud of doing that. And in this world, it can be very, very difficult to understand that why. What Caesar meant was absolute abhorrent lies. What's recorded in history is not accurate at all. So the removal of him was a massive removal of a major timeline incursion to hijack our history. As we all know, there are very similar things that are going on to that can be made about Jesus Christ and Julius Caesar. They both crossed a river. They were both born in the same time, so on and so forth. It's what Caesar was doing to craft his imagery after his death to hijack the Jesus name. But so much more of it was prevented by the way he was killed, because they killed him on all dimensions and time stream, and then he said, no, you are not doing this. And a whole bunch of light being stepped forward, and that's their proud, because they stepped forward in unity to an extreme dark force that was about to hijack 1,000,000 years worth of history.
Wow.
All right, do you have any last questions? I got to move on to the next caller.
Okay, no, I think that I'm kind of speechless at the moment. But I thank you for your help. And it definitely looks like I've got some work here.
I would seriously look at doing the colon cleanse, the talk by the fire. I mean, we talked about it the last show, so you can go back and listen to that one and really apply it to yourself. Really look at 2-week colon cleanse combined with the colonics, combined with talking to the fire, the contract revocations, to give yourself that chance to get your control over your dreaming body. And you will have to write some specific things that you can say before you sleep. They're slightly poetic that say to your dreaming body, we are coming to unity, we are coming to neutrality. There's no more of this rebellious time. It's time to come home, and it's time to work together.
Right. Okay. I will do
All right,
it.
Sherry, thank you very much for coming on to the show.
What's your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, my name is Steven Gracia, and I'm from Sunnyvale, California.
Hey, how you doing today?
Not too bad, just waking up early in the morning.
Okay, how can I help you? You have questions?
Well, I wanted to, I've never had a reading before, so it's the first time for me. Well, I wanted to talk about the dreams and stuff that I have. I've always been fascinated about dreams, and I lucid dream quite a bit, and I can remember my dreams a lot. I mean, from years ago, you know, I mean, it just, it seems so real to me when I dream and stuff. And I've always wanted to know, I always had, you know, just wondered if, because in my dreams, you know, there's times when I lucid dream, I can ask questions and stuff to people. And there's people in my dreams that I don't even, they're not here on this earth, but they're there. And there's people that are here, but they're always younger version. And I always wonder, it's like, you know, do I leave my body and go to another planet, or do I go to a different dimension? And I mean, it's like another life, and it seems so real. And this, you know, because I always feel like our bodies itself is, you can't just make up this stuff, you know. I mean, I don't think it's smart enough. It's just a body, you know. We're just a spiritual being experiencing a physical body, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just want to know what your take is on stuff like that.
Well, what's your experiences in you're dreaming your soul group? These are people that you already know, and they're in a younger or an older version of life. They're your soul group.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, a lot of them. You know, it just seems like they always, you know, carry on into my dreams in different scenarios. But there's times where I had like one dream one time while I was in this. I don't know. I was in this red garage. It was like a garage, and I remember all these people coming up to me, and I didn't even. They don't live here on this earth because I haven't ever seen them before. But they came up to me, and they were all welcoming me, and I was like, oh, and I felt like I knew them all, and I felt like I was at home. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to leave you guys, man. You know, I was like, I want to stay here. You know, and I just remember that so well. It's like.
It's really interesting that you said red garage. Describe the red garage. What else do you see? Is there a house? Is there a lawn?
There was a river. I remember there was kind of like a river next to it, and then it was just a red, everything, it was like a red garage, and I was inside, and everybody just showed up, and I was like, wow, man, I missed you guys.
That's an inner earth dream, the red garage. Like I said yesterday about the cobblestone mailbox, the red garage by the river is an inner earth dream. It means that inside your soul there's an access to the inner earth, the Garthan networks, that your soul is deeply connected to the inner earth people, and that the dreams you're having allow you to dream the dimension of inner earth as well as the dimension of outer earth and outer planets. You're what I call an ambassadorial soul. You've gone and lived lives on every planet in our solar system and are here to say, hey, their culture over there and their culture over there actually have resemblance to this culture over here. And you're going to be one of those people that's going to be a cultural ambassador to help people understand on our planet that our cultures are so different, but on a planetary scale, our culture is a what? A global culture or a solar system culture. And you're going to be one of those people that's going to be easily reach out to them. You make friends well in your life now?
Yeah, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, you know. I guess so. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't get along with. I mean, I get along with most people, you know. Mm-hmm. I wanted to also ask you, my first time I lucid dreamed, and I was wondering if you could answer this. And I've always been confused on this. I remember the first time I lucid dream, I was walking with this little girl, and I just was holding her hand or walking with her, something like that, and I turned to her and I go, do you know me? And she turned to me and she goes, I know everything about you, Stephen. And I went, whoa. and then I wanted to stay, and then because once you start lucid dreaming, your body starts waking up. You can feel that. And I didn't want to wake up, but you end up waking up, coming back to this reality. And I was like, I always wanted to know who this girl was, because it's like she turned to me and told me, I know everything about you. And I was like, wow, tripped me out.
All right, you were in a lucid dreaming moment that a part of yourself said, I know a significant portion. Go ahead.
Well, it was this little girl. I was just walking with her, and I remember the first time I could remember I lucid dreamed, and it was unexpected. And I turned to her and I just asked her, "Do you know who I am?" And she goes, "I know everything about you." And I was like tripping out. And I always tripped out on that.
The little girl in your dream is something that many of us create that allows us to attach to the first concept of Earth Mother. And a lot of us males that incarnate this lifetime that are having a difficult time dealing with the sacred feminine create a little girl that you can create a dream relation with. And that dream relation can grow very fast until you understand that it's really the Earth Mother's dream time. And what's saying that I know much more about you, it's because she invited you to this planet and you agreed to come here and make soul contracts with her and other members of your soul group. So in these lucid dreaming moments, you're being given opportunities to ask questions, but the autopilot inside your lucid dream may limit your ability to ask highly creative questions. The only difference between me and you is I've overcome my internal lucid dreaming autopilot to ask very deep creative questions. Have you been in a lucid dream where you've been able to literally just ask all of the questions that you've wanted without restriction?
Kinda.
Okay.
Kinda. It depends on how I can. Excuse me. It depends on how I can remember. You know, depends on when I remember what I can remember in my dream. And you know, because we lucid dream, it's like and you just want to do all kinds of stuff, but then it's like, wait a minute. The most I've done is I'll stop in my dream and I'll start exploring and look around and look up and everything and try to absorb everything. You know, and but I've asked questions and I've been laughed at. I remember one time I landed. I remember I lucid dreamed and I walked into this building and there was all these people and I asked everybody. I said, "Where am I? Where am I?" And everybody stopped, looked at me, and started pointing. Saying that, and I was like, "Well, screw you, I'm out," you know. So I just took off and flew off, kind of, you know. It's like that's what I did, you know. But
all right, we're going to be going on break in about 2 minutes. You want to hang on the line, and we'll talk more about your dream, and I'll give you on the other side of the hour.
Sure, no problem.
All right, we've got 2 minutes, so why don't you tell me more about some of your dreams? Give me a quick overview of some of your other dreams.
A lot of my dreams of a lot, you know, just I remember looking up in the sky. I dream a lot about my hometown, a lot about that. Everything's based in the city, in my hometown. I could, you know, just my hometown area, and it's always based there. And you know, it's been a long time since I've been there. I mean, I go back and forth, but it's always there. I dream about man, there's so many lucid dreams. It's hard to. There's times I've talked to people, just sat and talked to people. Hey, how you doing? Good. How you doing? You know, and I would say, I don't know, just like, so where am I? Stuff like that. And you go, oh, you're in the right place. This and that. Okay, you know. Oh man.
Sounds like you're. It sounds like you're a Dreamtime explorer. It sounds that in many cases you're similar to me, and we just haven't. That's our music. Why don't you stay on the line? We'll be back in about 6 minutes, everyone. Okay. All right. I had a caller 650. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Hey, so we were talking about your lucid dreamings there, and I see in the chat room you reminded someone else that they were lucid dreaming also. See, by sharing, by people coming out and sharing, we learn to expand our abilities. So you were wanting a reading. Do you have any other questions or statements before I give a reading to you?
Let's see. I always just wondered, you know, why, you know, I lucid dream easily. I mean, it's not all the time, but I mean, it's just a lot of things come to me easily, and I don't realize that. Because I talk to a lot of people, and they're like, I can never remember my dreams, or I can never lucid dream like you. And I'm like, what? You know, I just don't understand it's like that.
It has to do with your genes, your DNA.
Wow.
Your DNA is linked to the Peruvian Amarataca people, and it's very powerful energy. These were the true crow people of their times. All right, the crow energy can see itself. It knows its shadow. It understands that the shadow is light and the shadow is dark at the same time. The crow is also the knower of the great void and beyond. These Amataka people would go into the void of ever after in creation and look for the Dreamtime worlds, the Dreamtime society, and they would ask them and invite them to come back to Earth to teach people here. So in an ancient time, you would sit next to the fire with the other shamans and go on what's called a drum search, a drum lucid dream search for other extra-dimensional beings that were in the dream realm, and ask them to come here and be teachers, to be architects, to help the people grow, help the people understand that the strength and stamina that was needed to survive the ages, so that one generation can reach into its 7 future generations. That's the first thing you got to see, that you live so many lifetimes as a tribe, that what you are realizing now is so much of what you did then was reaching into the future versions of yourself, shamaning from a great past, and understanding that the two sides of the universe are present in your lifetime right now. There's a set of records that are inside your lucid dreaming. Think of it like a key lock. And you stick the key in, you turn it, and all of a sudden the tumblers turn and a set of information is let go. You turn it another way and another set of information is turned. You turn it a third and more, until you've reached what your sole purpose was for this lifetime. You've unlocked all of your records. You've returned to the ocean, and you've expressed the power of the crow to the great white crow who would fly over the ocean and bring peace to the shadows of the other side. Because there are other aspects of you on other parts of this planet that are, how do I describe it, like your soul group, but more like soul mate group is what I like to describe it as. A lot of people understand soul mate. You have a soul mate group, all right? It's a group of men and women who have lived many lives as a very tight pack of people. They lived. One could not live with one member of the pack died, all would die. If one pack of the member of the pack incarnated into this world, the rest would incarnate. That's how bound you are to this lifetime. Right now, all of you are living. You're separated on purpose, because you're acting as a Dreamtime network between all of the other soul groups you're connected to. You're providing a root and a foundation and strength for all these other young souls to experience Dreamtime through the Dreamtime you that was in Rataka Indians. Kind of understand what I'm going here?
Well, then that has to make some sense, because, I've never, most of my life I've never been open-minded. Like, I've never been awake, if you know what I mean. And things come to me, like coming awake in this world, like being aware of things instead of the materialistic things, and yeah, man, I'm gonna go out tonight, and stuff like this, and worrying about the stupid stuff and turning off the TV and everything. I've done on my own. Nobody's ever even told me to do this. I've just naturally done this. But the weirdest thing, and I've told the story to a few people in my life. I don't tell it too many times because people think I'm weird, but I was at a stoplight, and I was just sitting there, it was a Friday night, just watching the stoplight, getting ready to get on the highway, and all of a sudden, I had this weird, weird thought or some kind of weird thing come across me, that I knew everything, that I could know everything. I had all the answers, but it was done in seconds, and it was like a shake in my, it was like boom, Steve, wake up, and it's changed my life ever since.
Right. That's the crow medicine speaking to you from the ever beyond, giving you the lightning strike of infinite thought. That's what that is.
I've always wondered, what was that all about,
You've experienced lucid dreaming, and you know that you can create and talk to people. That's the dream world reaching out and touching the awake you.
Yeah, because
I'm quite serious. It's actually a very rare talent. If this world were different and set up differently, you would have been recognized at a very young age, and you would have been doing what I'm doing by the time you were 7, 8, or 9. You would be deeply into the dream seer world. You would have shared time with the other dream seer shamans of this world, and you would have been able to co-create great healing, but not at this time. After the event that's going to come when we decide to put the wet clay in the kiln and bake it, you'll understand that you having these dreamtime experiences so you can share them with the others when they go through their awakening process. You're still kind of hitting the snooze bar every now and then and taking an extra rest, but ultimately you're not giving up. You know it's a lifelong event, and you can take a vacation from it. It's perfectly all right. But at the same time, when you're taking the vacation, you're recharging those spiritual sides so you can have more events. It's the stamina within. You're going through the battle of stamina right now. You're trying to condition your mind, condition your soul, and condition your life in like a weight training exercise so you can have the strength to manage all of the different points of view that are coming. Not just the lucid dreaming points of view, but the points of view of the people that are going to ask you questions. Okay? I mean, at some point, the lucid dreaming you has already had deja vus waiting for you about future people you haven't met. When you had that lightning strike, they reminded you that here it is. There's going to be a series of lucid dreaming events that are going to turn into basic deja vus for you. And they're going to trigger a set of events that will be your choice to handle. Okay?
Does this happen to a lot of people? I mean, because it's like...
No. You're kind of... in the 20 years that I've been doing this, I've maybe run across 10 people that are like you, that have made it this far without killing themselves because it's too much to handle, or ending up being drugged in psychotic wards or hermits on the mountain.
Wow. To me, it's fascinating, and I don't even think like that. I don't.
You had a family that accepted you, that made sure you were going to do this. If you didn't have the soul group that you had now, you probably wouldn't have been able to get through this. A lot of other dream seers that I've met didn't really plan their lives very good. That's the best way I'll describe it.
Wow.
Okay, when you were 16, what was life like for you?
16?
Yep.
Stressful? That's all I know. Gosh, going way back. I don't know. I guess I don't remember. It was stressful. That's all I know. I mean,
you were in high school, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a girlfriend?
No, but I've always helped people, just always wanted to help people. I lifted weights and stuff and everything, and I was more of I guess I wanted to protect people, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
you were a semi-young adult that was going through the growing. What were your dreams like when you were there?
Oh, man. The dreams back then. Well, I mean, they're kind of, I guess, the same as like today. I mean, I dream, I can't remember if I lucid dreamed back then. It started happening as I got older, lucid dreaming. Stuff like that. It's been a long time. It's hard for me to remember. When I was 16.
Well, it's time for you to begin to remember. It's time for you to go back and look some of your old memories. because there's a stamina inside you that is using those memories as a foundation for who you are now. And the lucid dreaming side of you is very much attached to the younger versions of you. The younger versions of you were anchoring the future versions of you so that you could literally call in here now and ask me questions so that the younger version of you can be, how do I put this, found in Dreamtime again. Okay.
But that must explain me dreaming about my hometown. I mean, I always dream about my hometown constantly. It's always based around that.
Right. And there's a reason for that, because there's a Dreamtime society that decided to incarnate in your hometown.
Mm.
And you're a part of that Dreamtime society. I called you the Arataka Indians. I mean, you're there. There's a whole bunch of shamans there handling a Dreamtime. And you're a part of them. So you can exist with them in Dreamtime. You can open up to their information, but it's really about having the stamina and strength to do it.
How can I open up to them more and understand what I need to understand? I mean, why do we forget what we forget in this life? I mean,
why do we forget? It's a very, very good and hard question. When we wake up, the first thing that we do, our conscious mind has gone through the infinite stage to the finite stage. We are no longer in the dream world, but part of us may be there. Think of it like an hourglass, and your consciousness is going through the hourglass, and you have a very limited time to remember everything. And once everything's on the other side, you begin that forgetting process because your skin suit that can't function with it all. It's just not set up that way until you start doing exercises that allow more of the infinite energy in through your crown chakra, down your spine, and then into your lower intestines. Because in your lower intestines, all energy is processed and then put into the hollowness of your bones, and then it allows it to create with the marrow to create blood, which makes your blood even more dense with more energy. So that's the meditation process that brings in more. But on even another level, there are places to go, places of power, like Mount Shasta in California, the Mount Fuji, Chaco Canyon, the Grand Canyon, Yosemite. All of those are places of power. The Sequoia National Forest. I actually recommend anybody that's in California to go outside of Fresno is the Sequoia National Forest, and they have something there. It's called the Crystal Cave. And it's a bit of a hike to get to it, but once you get in there, it's like an hour-and-a-half tour through this cave where natural crystals are just growing everywhere. And the cave speaks to just about everyone that goes in there. So it's time for you to take some pilgrimages so that you can build your spiritual strength by being around these places of power so that your inner body, your inner parts can have a refill of this energy so you can dream even more.
You know, a lot of this makes sense. I mean, I've never heard of those Indians before or anything like that, but, I go through my life thinking odd things, not like weird things, but just things I know that I don't know, actually, but I don't know if other people really think like this. But I can sit at a stop sign, and I'll be waiting to make a right turn after I got coming back from the grocery store. And just think, I get these like weird, I don't know, it's normal to me, actually, it's not weird to me, but it's like, I think, like, I would sit there and stop and think, this isn't right. Like, cars would be going past me, and I'll go, this isn't normal, this isn't right, where am I? Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, well, this is my reality. This is it. This is the car. I'm on Earth. This is what you've been living all the time. This is it. And I'd sit there and just think all the time, like, I mean, is this real? I mean, where am I? I would be thinking like that. Huh?
We are in the fiction right now. We are in the finite world. The finite world is the fiction. The fiction is what we created soul contracts with this planet so we can have a culture, so that we can go through a healing for all of the spirits that have come here. It's gone off track. The experiment kind of kind of not succeeding the way it was supposed to, and a lot of people got stuck here. And souls like you and me decided to come from other places to come here to get it back on track. And when you say, what is this? Is this real? It's because you understand the fiction and you understand the infinite is way more real than the finite. And you understand it so much that even the asleep you, the sheeple you, knew it. And when you awoke, you knew it even more.
And, you know, and that's one of the hardest things to accept when I think like that. I mean, I think like this all the time. It's like, I always think like, you know, like why am I here? You know, I'm like, there has to be, I know there's more than this. Where was I before? Where was I before 1972? I was somewhere else. And I think like, I think like that. and I know people don't. They just, you know, go on with their lives and worry about, you know, American Idol and stuff. But I don't know. I just think just beyond is like, I don't know. That's my daily life. I mean, I live my life, but it's like, but I think beyond, it's like, I think of the weirdest things, which is kind of normal to me, but to other people weird, you know, it's like, I don't know. I just never could explain why I think like that. I don't know.
Well,
you know, it's just,
well, now you have some personal discernment to go through. You know, what I've brought up in this reading is your opportunity to use your heart space, your internal energies, to determine what has more concept for you to research, for you to look inside yourself. What I'm actually going to suggest to you is so what I'm suggesting for you is you want more clarity in the dream world, as well as more clarity to build strength.
I want answers.
Well, was like, you don't really want answers from you. You want answers from yourself. I've helped you expose something.
I just can't believe that, you know, some things that, you know, I mean, in this, I believe in this world where, you know, it's hard to, like, think beyond stuff. But, you know, the way I walk this earth and my way I think, I know there's more than just this. And the dreams help a lot. I love dreams. I've been fascinated with the dreams and lucid dreaming and all that. I just wanted to know why I am that way,
right.
The way I am.
I'm going to help you. All right, this is a really simple technique that can help you return to a much more potent state of dreaming. You already have some of the lucid dreaming skills built into your DNA, so this will be easier for you than some of the others. What you're going to need is some kosher salt or sea salt, some of the bigger grain salt, not the iodinized salt. You know what I'm talking about?
The sea salt?
Yeah, sea salt.
Oh, yeah.
So you need about 1.5 cups of that. Do you have any of that at your home?
No, but I can get some.
All right, so you can go buy for $2. You'll buy a big box that'll last you forever. You need a plastic Ziploc bag. You're gonna put 1.5 cups in it, just like you would put an ice pack on a sore area. What you're gonna do is put the salt on the bottom of your pillow, and you're gonna lay your head on it so that the salt encompasses the back of your neck and the top of your skull, where your neck and your skull intersect. So, like, if the police tell you to put your hands behind your head, you would interweave your fingers around part of your neck and part of your head. That's where you want the salt. All right. So if you need to put more than 1.5 cups, that's fine. You know, lay yourself down on the couch, turn the TV on, whatever, and you're going to try to fall asleep. All right. This is going to take you about 4 or 5 tries, but the more you do it, the more you're literally going to clean the gunk out of your ability to understand your dreams. You ever heard the term, you know, people say when they get on the freeway, they speed their car up so they can clean out the carbs?
Yeah.
Well, same thing for you. You've got to turn on the energy and just, you know, have a couple backfires, shoot some smoke out the back, and you're going to be back on track to some of your deeper dreaming.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I would love to really enjoy them. I enjoy them. I just love to dive deeper into this. It's fascinating to me, and you know, it's not scary to me or nothing like this. It's just fascinating. It comes normal to me. I embrace it. You know, just you know. But thanks. I appreciate you helping me out. You know?
Why don't you call back tomorrow or next week, or contact me on Facebook. You're on my Facebook, Andrew Bartzis at Facebook.com at Facebook. But tell me, to share with me how the salt helps you, because essentially what you're going to do is you're going to open up the hood, you're going to change the plugs and wires and give yourself a new oil change, and you're going to be running a lot better.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much.
All right. And if you get some really potent dreams, change the salt about every 5 days. Okay?
Okay.
And freshen the salt.
I just rest it in the back of my neck,
Put it on a pillow. Put it on a pillow and to let yourself fall asleep on top of it.
Okay. All right, I'll do that.
Also, if you find yourself in a very different situation where there's lots of stuff flowing through your head, you can take it out from the back of your neck and put it over your eyes like a hot compress would, putting a wet towel over your eyes. You can do the same thing. It'll function very similar to on the back of your neck, but it'll change the way you interpret some of the Dreamtime lucid dreaming.
Okay.
It's like the focus on a camera.
Okay. Right on. I appreciate this.
You're welcome. All right. Why don't you call back next week and let us know what's going on?
Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
All right, now you've used a term here several times this evening. I think we should explain it as well, and that is when you say the Dreamtime societies and Dreamtime layers or whatever other things, what are you talking about with the Dreamtime? What does that term mean?
When I go to sleep here, I wake up in another world, and when I go to sleep over there, I wake up over here. It's a seamless exchange. Mm-hmm. Most people experience that infinite world, and that's where their soul family exists, or that's where their other members of their DNA lineage exist that are waiting to come back into this lifetime. The Dreamtime itself is perfectly layered over the worlds that you live in, but at the same time it exists at the North Pole where the Aurora Borealis is. And when you venture to the Aurora Borealis, you learn how to enter the Dreamtime societies. And Dreamtime societies are the homes that your previous family members have made in Dreamtime because they've shared dreams with Earth. And Earth has set aside a space for them, an infinite amount of space that's a tiny speck within the Aurora Borealis. And they're all members of your family lineage from your mother's side as well as your father's side are allowed to dream into this place and then teach you or other members in your family what the family lineage is about. And there you learn the process of what others did, your grandfathers, your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers. That's where you get to commune to them, learn their traditions and rituals, and then take this wisdom back to apply to your family so that your next generation has the same opportunity to be a part of these Dreamtime societies.
So yeah, speaking of toxicity, you were mentioning how our guts and our stomachs and our basically our bodies, which you call the DNA skin suit technology, how it's been affected, how this technology that we are living in has been affected. I mean, when we have a human that is calibrated to its fullest potential without a bunch of injections in it, without disalignments in the skeletal and muscular structure, without belief systems that are actually keeping them prisoners of their own mind through worry and fear and shame, blame, guilt, self-judgment, judgment on others. When we have a human being that is been somehow brought up in a better way, or has been able to detox themselves of this, and that is absolutely possible. I know that you've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again in a second, but what is the true potential of human? What is the true potential of our DNA technology skin suit? I mean, we hear of these people doing remote view, Ed Dames, the kill shot. I mean, hundreds and thousands of people are remote viewing. Hundreds and thousands of people are now animal communicators or ghost hunters. What do you see in the records of our technology that is our skin suit? What have you read? What do you see? What is our full potential?
Our full potential is at a scale so greater than we have ever become to imagine. Remote viewing is just but one tiny little sample. People have asked me for many years now, how is it that I do what I do? And my answer to them, there's a part of me in the past, a part of me in the future, a part of me in the North Pole, and a part of me in the South Pole. I have acknowledged that I'm a multidimensional, multifunctional, photonic being of light that does not have to agree to time. Toxicity is how you are disconnected from no time and allowing yourself to live in the environment where we all share the dirty energy underwear. Toxicity is the level of coercion and corruption the system of domination and control has over you even at birth through a system called ancestral karma that you incarnated or reincarnated with. Toxicity is debt. Debt that was created by other generations of other times who are not the I am presence of now. We need not take on the debt. So when people are looking for this new vein of hope, this new ray of truth, it comes inside. And for the true human potential to be understood, we must conquer our own spiritual toxicity, our own physical toxicity, our own social toxicity, and our technological toxicity. I use those words for a very specific reason. When you bring all of those into a relative balance, meaning you have enough outside and inside time, enough social time, enough all of the balanced times, and all the different levels of reality you have to express, that is how you are existing as a multifunctional, multidimensional being in this layer of timed reality. Your next layer is, how do you do that in an untimed reality? Everyone out there has had a process where they had to have 6 or 7 hours of work that needed to get done, and somehow they got it done in 2. That is how we can warp the reality around us. How people have had to get to work 20 minutes in a 40-minute drive, and they make it there with 1 minute to spare. We shape and manifest our reality at all times. That is the true human potential. When the humans get past shame, blame, and guilt, they get to a level of heart connection where they can hear truth from other voices and have a knowingness that they are greater than those that came before them. That is the true human potential. Our skin suits have skill sets such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, telekinesis, aerokinesis, pyrokinesis, and 1,000 others yet to even be described. Ghosts are real. Aliens are real. Everything is real because we have manifested it in this time over millions of years of history. Things from the most ancient parts of our history, long forgotten by our race memories, are being brought back to us by these odd propagandas and appearance of UFOs, and things that make us wonder, what else is out there?
That reminds me, when you're talking about the toxicity, what the Bible says, the sins of the fathers pass to the sons. That sounds a lot like what they say in India with karma. And you were talking about spiritual debt. Would you say that all of these sayings basically speak about the same thing?
Yes, they all speak of the same thing, as how physical debt, dollars, cents, joy, love, hate, all of that stuff transits to how the body passes over and goes into its astral world before it decides to come back and live here. It transits out of the real into the other real, and it chooses to take a debt with it, a debt that it may want to fix the next lifetime in awareness or unawareness. And that is the challenge that everyone on our world is going through now, how much of your past life memories are making it from your light body into your physical incarnate body? And what do you have to do this lifetime? What disciplines do you have to practice? What martial arts do you have to understand to get yourself once again heart-centered, connected into the land that you live on, acknowledging that you have ancestors that live outside of time, that you can co-function in both worlds simultaneously? And the discipline of living a life like that is your inherent legacy. For there is where all of those psychic abilities and powers await, at an unimaginable level of power and usage. And it just requires us to detoxify our minds of the belief systems that are limiting, that create fear, to allow the ignorant, intolerant people who run our world to be told, no, you cannot do it anymore. For we are not God-fearing. We are individual, manifesting, co-creating beings of light. We do not have to fight. We do not have to go to war. We do not have to give the choices that the system tells us to choose out of adrenal gland fight or flight response. Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the holy grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.